House of Representatives urges the President to declare state of emergency on security. House moves to create special legislative seats for women. And House approves 257.1 billion naira budget for the Nigeria Customs Service. It's a pleasure to have you join us on this edition of You and Your Reps. My name is Victor Azu. Welcome. The House of Representatives has adopted an 11-point resolution in which it urged President Buhari to declare a state of emergency on the security sector to fast-track the restoration of peace across the country. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports that House Speaker Femi Gbajabiamila read out the resolutions after a closed-door session.
It was a 4-hour wait for journalists as the Speaker kick-started the business of the day with an executive session. Parts of the resolutions adopted by House members include condemning the attacks on security personnel and formations in parts of the country and sympathize with victims. It also sympathized with families and communities that have suffered banditry, terrorism and criminal attacks recently in several states of the country and calls on government to
provide emergency relief to all communities that have been adversely affected by the recent attacks across the country.
The House noted that the number of personnel in the police and military falls short of what is required to effectively secure the country and therefore called for immediate additional recruitment into the armed forces. The House is also to extend an invitation to the service chiefs, the National Security Advisor, heads of paramilitary agencies and NICOMSAT to brief the House on the security situation in the country. While urging the judiciary to accelerate the prosecution of suspected terrorists, bandits and other criminals awaiting trial, the House stressed the need for financial autonomy to local government areas to enable them to serve the populace.
The House reiterates its commitment to the security and corporate existence of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and will therefore accelerate its engagement with stakeholders at a special security summit that is being organized by the House of Representatives.
The lawmakers pointed the need to protect national assets and resolved to commence an audit of all military assets and arms with the nation's armed forces.
Democracy is considered the best representative form of government. Now, to further entrench this system in the country, change is being canvassed to address the disproportionate number of women in political offices, starting from the federal and state legislature. To this end, the House of Representatives has passed for second reading a bill seeking to create special legislative seats for women.
House Deputy Chief Whip Nkiruka Onyejocha and 85 others sponsored the bill.
It's a very good bill. It's an opportunity for us to be on the positive side of history.
It passed second reading and referred to the Constitution Review Committee for further legislative action. Also passed at second reading is a bill to establish Federal Medical Center in Renu, Kano State from Representative Alhassan Rurum. A bill to establish Public Service Institute of Nigeria, sponsored by Representative Ferdinand Dozier, and a bill to provide compulsory teaching of vocational studies in secondary schools in Nigeria from Representative Joseph Bello.
When passed, we ensure that our teeming youths are readily employable, they will gain invaluable entrepreneurship skills, and ultimately become, which is the most important part, self-reliant.
No student in Nigeria that will not have interest in one vocational study or the other. Let us use this bill to give them opportunity of learning one thing, an area that they have interest.
Other features at plenary is the adoption of a resolution to investigate the 500 million naira Chibok School Rehabilitation Fund moved by Representative Satomi Ahmed and the motion from Representative Musa Abdullahi urging the suspension of deadline for recapitalization of microfinance banks in Nigeria.
And the House of Representatives has approved a budget of 257.1 billion naira for the Nigeria Customs Service for the year 2021.
The approval of the Nigeria Customs budget by the House was as recommended by the House Committee on Customs, which also pegged the 2021 revenue projection of the service at 1.6 trillion naira, more than 100 billion naira higher than collections of 2020.
Based on the following factors: the expanded accessible item to include carbonated drinks, reduction of levy on new vehicles, and devaluation of naira.
Similarly, the House approved the sum of 216.6 billion naira as 2021 budget for the Federal Inland Revenue Service. The federal government's external loan request to fund priority projects of $1.5 billion and 995 million euros was approved as recommended by the House Committee on AIDS, Loans and Debt Management. 6 bills passed second reading, including a bill to establish Chartered Institute of Forensic and Certified Fraud Examiners of Nigeria.
Nigeria is yet to have any chartered professional body solely dedicated for the training and capacity building of professionals in the field of multidisciplinary areas of forensic.
Nigeria go to hire forensic auditors from South Africa to come and do forensic auditing in Nigeria. I want to believe that this will serve Nigeria better.
Among motions adopted is the need for the Nigeria Immigration Service to address scarcity of international passport booklets as moved by Representative Ugonna Ozurigbo and the call from Representative Chinedu Urga, urging federal governments to capture newly employed staff of tertiary academic institutions into the Integrated Personnel and Payroll Information System. In the meantime, the House, after conducting an investigation, described the alleged misappropriation of 100 billion naira in the Northeast Development Commission as unfounded and a misrepresentation of facts. The Finance Committee in its report stated that there is no existence of corrupt practice at the NEDC, but urged the Commission to utilize the more than 7 billion naira released to it in 2020.
Earlier, the House also considered a bill for an act to establish Federal Polytechnic Orozo in Abuja from the member representing Amak and Buhari Federal Constituency, Jiba Mika.
Mr. Speaker, I rise to move a bill for an act to establish Federal Polytechnic Orozo, Abuja, to provide full-time courses in technology, applying science, management, and other fields of study, and to make provision for the administration of such polytechnics and other related matter, HB 698.
Typically, a caucus refers to a meeting of supporters or members of a specific political party or movement. The exact definition, it varies between different countries and political cultures. So, what does a caucus mean in Nigeria's legislative parlance? Chairman, House Committee on Rules and Business, Abubakar Fulata, will guide us.
In each parliament, you have political groupings. For example, here in the House of Representatives, we have representatives largely from APC. You have the PDP. You have ABGA. We have, I think, a member representing PRP. And some of this. So now each party has its own caucus that normally sit down to discuss problems of their party, internal problems of their party and their agenda, how to advance the agenda of their party and so forth. So we have caucuses. Now we have also the majority caucus. For example, the House of Representatives is controlled by APC, so you have the majority APC caucus. Then you have also the minority caucus. Minority caucus does not comprise PDP alone. For example, PDP is a major shareholder, But all the other smaller parties, they form they are part of the minority caucus. If PDP as party wants to hold its own meeting, for example, they can say, okay, there will be a meeting of only PDP members. But if they call for a meeting of the minority caucus, other smaller parties will also attend. So you have caucuses within the assembly to advance the interests of their particular respective political parties.
The rising wave of insecurity in Nigeria is attracting concerns from all strata of the society. Now, the House of Representatives has also weighed in on the situation. You and your reps spoke with a couple of members to prefer solutions.
Let's take security issue as everybody's business. If we try to put religious, political dimension to it, it will consume all of us. You understand? Because those are the ethnicity and race. Those are the issues that will hamper the fight against it. So if you say you are declaring state of emergency in security, it means that the security people, despite the fact that they will be monitored closely to ensure that human right is protected. But they have the right to invite anybody under natural circumstances to come and answer certain questions. It's because we are not answering questions. The other issue is that there must also be improved confidentiality among the security personnel. And it's this common intelligence that we are not looking at something important. Look, any security challenge or attack that succeeded, there are some sinister signs that attack is coming. Either somebody will be coming that's not usual, and that environment will come and go around, and then people will start seeing, or people will come close and start buying anything, food, that unusual things happens. So these are the unusual things. And you see also a lot of movements. Most of these are using motorcycles. When you see 20 motorcycles, 30 motorcycles, it means something is going to happen somewhere. So I think people in the neighborhood should be able to alert the security. But security must also give them protection by not disclosing the source. I am one of the people that believe in prayer. We must also be prayerful. We must be prayerful. We must remove sentiment. We must have a holistic approach in the sense that employment must also be provided. Where you don't have employment, an ideal mind is a devil's workshop. Anybody can come to a village with 100 million and will be able to, let's say even 10 million, will be able to recruit number of youths within the shortest possible time. So those youths, and I think I supported one of the person that even mentioned in the plenary that the 774,000 workers, we should channel them to see how they can improve on our security. And then definitely we must advise the government to employ technology. Technology will serve to guide the troop, will start to reduce, will help in reducing the mass casualty.
We must begin to purge ourselves of excessive religious practice, excessive politicization of issues. Because it is when we try to mix religion with politics that it easily beclouds our sense of judgment and fairness. And we now tend to sweep critical issues that are capable of threatening the society under the carpet. So my humble appeal will be, let's de-emphasize too much of, mixing politics with religion. Because, like I said, it beclouds genuine sense of judgment, fair judgment. And as that is going on, problem keeps developing. Second thing I'd like to talk about or suggest is serious ethical reorientation. Our value system has completely collapsed. And when you check that, you now see that individuals who were given power by millions of people yielding to them These millions of people came out in the sun and queued, or in the rain and queued, and then used this power. This is where the power rests, and say, let's Azu go and represent us. So these individuals who have been so empowered through the thumbs of millions of people should know that they owe a responsibility of service. So my advice to us, those who are in leadership, is not to turn the power given to you around to oppress, to subjugate those who have given you the power. Instead, convert that power that has been given to you into service to the people. Care for the well-being of the people. When we do that, we'll be able to gain the confidence of these people who have given us power. And when you have their confidence, then you have more patriotism, you have more commitment. Finally, we must look at what we teach people in school and what we teach at home, how we bring up our children.
Still in search of possible solutions to Nigeria's security challenges, you and your reps went to town to confer with the people.
Everybody should wake up. Security begins with me and you. With those people who are terrorizing us, we know them. Some of them are neighbors. They are friends. So you should be able to report suspicious movements. That, oh, this person, we don't understand him. And even there should be a policy to check our lifestyle. You can't be spending buoyantly, you are not working. Somebody needs to check the source of your income. That is first to security. Then you know your neighbor. This NIN, they should be able to do it, that everybody has identity number, that once you are going, you hang your number. We know you, we know the next person to us. We know who is with us and who is staying with us, what he or she does. Then for the criminal elements, they should not set this country on fire. I appeal to them. They should drop their arms. Nobody has any justification whatsoever to pick up an arm against the state.
Community policing, not police-community relations. No. I mean community policing, where the village intelligence works more. The security intelligence of the village in a setting, every village setting, gives that village its own security backup. When a stranger comes into my village, everybody knows this is a stranger. And the next thing is that you see people, they don't have phones. But in the same night, you see them moving nocturnally, house to house, to find out who is this person, who is this man, where is he coming from, who has he come to see. And if they don't have enough information about him, in 2 days' time, they'll fish him out and ask him boldly, my friend, where are you from? What do you want in our town? It's our basic native intelligence, and it works for us. If the policing system will get down to that, you will see excellent results.
Combine our efforts together. Citizens will have to be very watchful. Government will have to step up more, add up more resources, and I bet you there will be peace in the world and in Nigeria.
Security is everybody's problem. The governors, what are they doing to secure their states as governors? They are the security officers of their state. What are they doing? Do the security apparatus of those states have enough vehicles to assist them? Security votes have been sent to the governors. Every governor of the 36 states of Nigeria collects security vote. What does it do with it? What are they doing with it? Okay, the internal security they have, like the vigilante and the other ones, civilian joint house and everything in their states, have they empowered them well? Security is above looking for people, chasing them, checking, okay, this I suspect this one. They are security gadgets. They should pass a bill on security gadgets. Let the police in the states have webcam cameras on their jackets.
This week on You and Your Reps, the committee segment beams its searchlight on the workings of the House Committee on Rules and Business. Let's join the committee's chairman, Abubakar Fulata. He represents the Benue Guri Kirikasama Federal Constituency of Jigawa State.
In a nutshell, is the clearance house. This is the clearing house of the National Assembly. All bills, all motions come to the office of the, come to the Committee on Rules and Business for vetting. When we receive a bill, when any type of bill, we subject it to legislative scrutiny. Normally, we have to look at it, scrutinize it, to make sure that it has not contradicted, one, an existing law. Secondly, that this new bill has not contradicted any section of the Constitution. Thirdly, whether that bill is not a controversial bill that can throw the nation into chaos and so forth. After then, it will now be gazetted. After gazetting, it will now be read the first time, then second time, third time, and then passed into law. So, jokingly, members call it nerve center. It is the nerve center of the House. You need whatever you need to do. You need the Committee on Rules and Business. The job of the legislator is to pass bills and also pass motions, and this is our job, to make sure that this job is effectively carried out. You need some intellectual content to do the job of the chairman or member of Rules. Even though membership is selective, members willingly choose to be members of the Committee on Rules and Business. It involves a lot of reading, it involves a lot of writing, okay? And vetting, you have to read a lot. All motions, members will bring their motion, okay? You just don't just select them for consideration. Sometimes you have to correct grammar, okay? A lot of things, sequencing, everything, a lot of things must follow before you. The same thing with the with bills. So it requires a lot of patience, painstaking efforts that will go into the production of the daily order paper and weekly notice paper. So it requires a lot of dexterity. When you are able to successfully get the House pass bills and motions that will contribute onto the development, growth of Nigeria, and that is where your pleasure comes in, that you are instrumental in getting laws that would advance the interests of Nigeria, not personal interests. That's where the pleasure comes. Otherwise, it's a very, very challenging job. Any member who willingly selects to be a member of Committee on Rules and Business is a very, very serious-minded member. It's a committee that you work, reading. Certainly members appreciate, even though the demand is so huge that you cannot attend to the interests of all members at the same time. So there are priorities, and we treat bills and motions on the basis of first come, first serve. So we have a table. If you come, where this, except for our rules provides for matters of urgent national importance. If there are issues which are not addressed immediately, if they are not addressed immediately, there will be loss of lives and property. Our rule provides that such matters be taken under Order 8, Rule 4 of our standing rules, which means they will be taken immediately. Those issues would not be subjected to the process of first come, first serve. There will be a motion. Member who is moving that motion will require that we suspend the provisions of Order 8, Rule 4, to enable that particular member take that motion immediately.
And our best wishes go out to the House Committee on Rules and Business in its very important assignment. And that's where we draw the curtains on this edition of You and Your Reps. My name is Victor Azu. Join us again.